Boy Fillmore Rich, entrepreneur extraordinaire, rapper, artist, songwriter, and visionary.
Self-made entrepreneurs, Sean Andre, artist, model, entrepreneur, etc.
You're not glued into the segment. It's your boy Spades. You know, if you want the realest topics and you want to get somewhere, you chop it up with us.
All right, so welcome to another episode of the segment. Today we have a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So my name is Shanisha Dixon, and I'm a financial coach down at World Financial Group. And
Well, we're glad to have you here. Believe it or not, for the viewers, this is your second time here because we had a boo-boo. But I'm grateful that you came back again for the second time, to help us out because the footage had a editing. My computer fell and somehow the stick broke, the SD card. So, yeah.
that's life, right?
Crossing our fingers this time.
Yeah. No, this time we definitely gonna be on top of it. I'll make sure I transfer from the memory card straight into the computer right away, so we don't have that mistake again.
No problem. No problem.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. Let us know what you do and a little bit about your background. Well, your work background, your financial advisor. Let the people know
Okay.
what's that like. What's that about?
So I'm a financial coach, and what I do is I educate people on how to make and save money through the means of investing. And that's like anything from life insurance, annuities, 401ks, IRAs, etc. So everything in the financial service arena, that's what we do, right? And just pride myself on, educating people because, a lot of times we don't really get that education. We kind of just get these plans. They're supposed to make you wealthy or they can help you retire, but we don't really know what they are. We don't know how money works. So what I do is I teach people how to make money.
And we all need to know that because I know I do need to know how to
Absolutely.
make some money.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, you're gonna.
No, go ahead.
So, what are some of the proponents that you would say make up a sound financial portfolio? So, for the average individual, like, what are the things that they need to make sure are in place if they really want to secure their wealth?
Absolutely. Okay, so you first and foremost you want to what I call our financial cornerstones.
Yeah.
Is consists of these four areas. Right. First and foremost, protection. Second, growth. Third, safety, and the fourth is tax advantages. So you want to make sure that you obviously have some proper protection in place. Right. You are the most important asset. Yes.
Yes.
Right. So we got to secure our initial us. Right.
Yes.
The second with the growth. Right. What I realize is that our money. Usually, our money's lazy, right? We want to make sure that while we're working for it, it's working for us, yes?
Right.
So we got to get some growth on our money. That means getting some interest rates higher than inflation. Safety, we all know what happened in 2008 when the market crashed, right? People lost up to 38% of their life savings. That's crazy. So we want to make sure that if you're saving your money, investing your money now, that there's ways that we can protect it, from any things like the market. And then tax advantages. While our money is growing, the more money you make, the more money you get taxed, right? So with that being said, we want to make sure that we are positioning our money in tax advantage situations where later on we're not paying more taxes. Right?
So for someone, say, for me to, take full advantage as far as knowing where to put my money, where do I get this information from? Would I have to reach out to someone like you, or how would I, for somebody that want to know how to
Like
do
an everyday
better with their
person?
money? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like I'm an everyday person. The beauty in my business philosophy is that we work based off working with what we call a warm referral basis. Friends of the family, family. So we connect with one another. So we're really trying to expand on that and get more people understand. Like there's people that are just like you out here willing to teach you.
Yeah.
But for the everyday person, you can go on, Investopedia. You can go on Google and search these things and look up, how does someone, get higher interest rates? You can Google those things or look things up. But to contact me directly, you just have to find me like on social media or know me or something.
I mean, since you brought up social media, you might as well tell the people where they can find you at.
Oh, definitely.
As far as, yeah.
You can find me on Instagram, Shanisha's Changing Lives. It's SHANISHAS, Changing Lives. For Facebook, Shanisha Alexandria Dixon. Snapchat, The Great Dix, DIX. So yes, I'm all over.
Dirty mind people.
So yes, I'm all over social media. Definitely.
Great. I realized. Oh, you want to say something? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I noticed you had a award ceremony a few weeks ago or so.
Yeah.
So it looked like you walked out the office with a handful.
Racked up. So, what our company does is I'm independent through a large firm. What they do is they recognize, the people that are helping families, and I pride myself in helping families, helping the people that look like me and come from where I come from, that 95% of the population. So I just made sure I did what I need to do. Got a couple of top personal producer awards, making income that most people, I made over $15,000 in 1 month. Like most people don't make that income, so we got recognized for that. Helping, develop leaders.
Yeah.
So I got some leadership awards as well. So.
Awesome.
Dope.
Thank you.
Financial coach,
Yeah.
leadership, mentorship.
Yeah.
What doesn't she do? Man, that's crazy. So I have a question. All right, so you cover life insurance as well. This has been a big thing in our community. We spoke about this last time, but I want to make sure that the audience gets to hear this.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of instances where people in our community have passed away, and their family has, having trouble covering the cost of burials and so forth, and the after expenses when that family member die. I'm noticing a lot of people in our community are resorting to like crowdfunding websites and stuff like that to get the money that they need or raise the money that they need to make up for their loss. And although some cases I see they're able to do that and find the support, which is great, I feel like we shouldn't make that a trend and we should be more proactive. So I've been speaking a lot to people about life insurance. I'm investing in a policy of my own. Explain life insurance for those who don't know or are looking for more information.
Yeah. So with life insurance, one thing I completely agree, people need to be proactive, and that's an investment in yourself.
Yeah.
I personally do not support any GoFundMes when it comes down to funerals and whatnot, only because I feel like it's enabling, and sometimes the cases are really severe and it really breaks my heart.
Yeah.
But and so maybe one or two crazy slight cases I'll make an exception, but honestly I just think that it's people passing off their responsibility to us, and that's not fair. I feel that but then again I can't judge, because then I realize that most people aren't aware of what life insurance is and how it works.
Right.
So now knowing that, what I do is I pride myself in educating people on what life insurance is. So there's two types of life insurance, right? There's a permanent coverage and term coverage. Term is like temporary, it protects you between 5 and 30 years. And it's really like a term. So if you get a 5 years, then you have to use it. You have to pass away within that 5-year time frame, or else it won't pay out. Or 30 years, it won't pay out until you pass away in that 30 years, right? Now, that's not every case is different, where some of them have what you call like a rider, where you can get a premium return. So doesn't mean that all your money went to waste, but those are certain cases. And then you have permanent coverage, where it's like whole life. It covers you for your whole entire life. And with that, it has two components to it, which a lot of people are not aware of. The first component is the death benefit, which is where your family, if you pass away, your family gets that money. The other component is the cash value component. That's the money that you have access to while you're alive. Now, a lot of people are not aware of that cash value component, so they don't see it as an investment. They think like, I'm just gonna make somebody rich when I die, which is also a very selfish mentality to have, right? But it's so big within our community. I'll hear parents say, no, my kid has to work the way I worked. You know, if we instill certain principles in our children, then our children will never be wasteful minded. You know,
Right.
so everything about money is way beyond the physical and a lot more about the mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so but I went on a tangent. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. So
But-
you discussed. So it seems like with a term policy, that would be better for somebody who's in their latter years, you know, and you know they just need short coverage.
Not necessarily, because what happens is most term policy. Well, I'm almost sure it's almost all, but don't quote me. But you know, in regards to term, you know, when I would typically get someone a term, is when, because I know you said that, oh, get it in the latter years. You don't want to get it in the latter years because
Right.
what happens is most term policies don't pay out after age 88, right? So if your policy is not paying out after age 88 and there's longevity in your family, does it make sense to even have that policy, right? Your family's living to 90, 95. Make sense? So when I typically get someone a term policy is, you know, when they don't have a lot of money, but they do have people that are dependent on them, and they want to make sure that, you know, if something happens to them, their family is good. The second time is also when people have assets that they want to protect, right? So a big example that I'm big on is homeowners, right? So let's just say, I know we talked about you weren't interested in real estate, right? So let's just say you bought a home, right? Now your home, your mortgage right now is $500,000, and you got a 30-year mortgage, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get you a 30-year term policy, and that's like $600,000, just a little bit more than your policy, so that just for extra cushion, right? So I get you this policy. What happens now is, let's say God forbid you pass away in the next 30 years. Your family will now get $600,000 so that they can use this to keep up and make the payments for the home and buy the home. Make sense? Now that they have that $600,000 coming. Well, most people, they don't have any insurance in place. They just have their homeowner's insurance, and they think, okay, well, because I have this property insurance, you know, what happens now is I'm going to, I don't know, I guess they think it's going to protect them in some way, but really all it kind of does is protects you against what you call it, from like storms or, you know, any damage to the house, right? And even now they're like kind of keep adding like, all right, well, if you have a flood, you know, so and then there's the PMI insurance. That's like more so to cover the bank, not really you. So there's really no protection for your family there.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happens is, let's say now you have this $500,000 investment. You decided, I want this to be a legacy for my family, right? Now that you pass away, God forbid, your legacy is gone, because now the bank comes in and takes over the house. Well, you didn't pay us. You can't afford to pay us because you don't have that person's income. We're going into foreclosure. Make sense? Pretty bad situation. So we want to prevent those situations. So I just get you a term policy. Let's say you invest $9,000 over the course of 30 years, right? You invest $9,000, you get, and if something happens to you, cool, your family gets $600,000. If nothing happens to you, then what happens is you lost $9,000 to protect an investment, right? Because you, at that point, over 30 years, you paid off your mortgage. Make sense? So that's when the case when I, you know, when I tell people that, I'm like, their mind is blown, like, oh my gosh, you know. But I always get them both. So the way cash value works is this money that you have access to while you're alive. In a whole life policy, what happens is it comes in the form of a loan, right? So you can access that money in the form of a loan, you pay it back. Now I know your concern was, well, is it better to go to a bank and get a loan, or use the life insurance?
Yeah.
Right? I would say utilizing the life insurance if you have access to that money. Because what happens is now, you know, the insurance company loans you that money at 3 to 7%, versus the banks are like at 17 to 22%, right? Which could be pretty high. So, and then when you're paying back this loan in the life insurance, what happens is a portion of it is going towards your premium, and the other portion is going towards your debt that you owe them, right? So what happens is now, if anything, as long as you're up to date with your payments, if you pass away and there's an outstanding balance, all they do is take away what you owe from the death benefit and pay out your family still. So you still have that initial investment versus owing a bank and then you passing away and then leaving your family debt.
Yeah.
Makes sense? So
Makes perfect sense.
So, and then the other cash value, there's other plans where the cash value, you can actually have access to that money and you don't have to pay it back. It's in the form of what we call, like, it's like a wash loan, right? And that's me getting very technical. But what happens is, like, the company will charge you 3% and then credit you 3%. So that 3 and 3 will cancel out, and therefore you don't have to pay anything back. Okay?
So
No.
when does that happen? Like the credit back? Is it they credit you back when you pay it back, or
No, so you never see.
Oh, you never
So
pay.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
You just, it's just something that you never really see, and it's done on their end.
On their-
you know.
oh,
So you
wow.
don't really have to worry about. You're not like gonna get a bill or anything.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about. Now there is time frames that these things come into play, and
Yeah.
each company has a different stipulation. But what my point is that there's plans like that out there where you don't have to pay it back and you have access to that cash value and it's your money.
Nice, nice. So I hope y'all caught that. That means no more GoFundMe's, no
None
more
at all.
Kickstarters.
Please.
Go get a life insurance policy. Go get you some life insurance and hold on to it for a couple years.
Absolutely.
That's great advice. You guys have any?
You have anything you want to say, Spades? No?
I'm being a student. Just
Just soaking it
Soak it
in
up.
right now.
So,
That's
like, what motivates you? How long you been in the field and being a financial coach? Tell us a little bit about your background.
What motivates me? I've been a financial coach for 4 years now. I went to SUNY Albany. I studied communications. Well, initially I studied accounting. I wanted to be an accountant because my mom was an accountant, and what happened was, you know, that's the best example of success that I had. You know, she had a home. She took care of 6 kids by herself. You know, she always complained about money, but she always made it work. So I knew she had money. You know, less than the appearance. So
They downplay
yeah,
their success.
Exactly.
Not
So
enough.
you know, I kind of knew that was a successful route. But when I went to school, and I took my first accounting test, I'll never forget. You know, I got like a D, and the teacher wrote in big red ink on the top corner, "I highly recommend you switch majors."
Wow.
Like, not come to my my classroom hours, nothing.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna ruin my GPA for this anyway. So I failed, did switch to communications, because everybody who flunked out of accounting went to communications, right? I don't know why, but that's like the SUNY Albany tradition. You fail this, you go here. So I did that, and it was the best decision I ever made, though. You know, that's when I learned about marketing and branding,
Yeah.
and I'm very big on marketing and branding. You know, more so on a self-image. Like I said, everything is more mental than versus the physical.
Right.
You know, so you have to know how to really brand yourself, but that comes with understanding your identity.
Yeah.
You know, and learning about marketing at school actually helped me understand my identity. You know, and how to brand yourself and put yourself out there. So that was pretty big for me.
I took a similar degree when I went to CUNY. It was for broadcasting technologies and management, which they covered a lot of marketing. What goes behind a company marketing itself? How do they find and discover their target audience? How do they reach that audience? And you know how radio and TV and stuff like that comes into play. So that was like really key information, because that kind of just showed me that it doesn't matter what you do. Eventually, sales and advertising is gonna come into play.
Everything in life is sales. It's buy, sell, transaction all the time.
Yeah.
But sorry, you said what motivates me.
Yeah.
What motivates me is just I have really good self-motivation. You know, just not knowing that, like, I want to live a certain life, live a certain lifestyle. You know, seeing my family struggle through things, you know, not being able to, when I was younger, not being able to wear like certain name brands, and it's not really about the name brand, it's just more about the option, you know, and that's what, you know, having wealth does. It affords you a lifestyle, you know, so I just want to have options, you know, and I have like, I don't know, like 9 nephews and 2 nieces, right? And, you know, I just love them so much. I think it's like 7. Yeah, the 9 total. Yeah, 7 nephews and 2 nieces. And, you know, and I don't want them to have a good example, you know. for me, I see my older siblings go a certain route, but they're doing their thing now, trying to get better. But they're really great parents. My younger brother, again, he kind of went his own route, So, and there's 6 of us. So for my little sister, me and her are like the good ones. And then my little brother, he's kind of right now on the fence. Like, I don't really know which way to go. But he's the only boy in my immediate family to graduate, high school. Mm-hmm. So I want to be an example for them to know, like, look, you can really do anything. It doesn't matter where you come from. Don't let anything, like, we didn't have our fathers in our life. Don't let that deter you from what you want to accomplish,
Mm-hmm.
I heard my brother, talk about, oh, maybe if I had my father. I'm like, that's an excuse. You could either use it as an excuse or fuel,
Yeah.
I chose to use it as fuel,
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are motivating factors. I want my mom to feel proud, like I raised 6 kids and, I did a good job. So I just kind of think about those things, really. And then I don't know. Originally, I started out, I think it was like wanting to be better than everyone. Honestly,
But
like,
we all.
yeah, like originally, yeah, like, I wanted to be better than my friends. I wanted to be, because for a long time I felt like I wasn't, I felt like behind, like, I don't know, like I was just kind of around, but not really leading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I just decided that, I was like, well, I'm going to be better than everyone. And it was really a conceit thing. And over the years, I did
Call it conceit, but it's ambition.
Yeah. Well, now it's ambition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, before it was like, it was a conceit, like revenge, and it was like coming from like a negative place. And like I said, you can use it to excuse or make it fuel. Mm-hmm. And so over the years, I just found a great mentorship. That's why I love, my organization. They provide excellent mentorship, and with us having that mentoring program, I was able to meet people that would really help to elevate me, really pull me up and pull me out of my environment, pull me out of, my safe space, which was my attitude, my negativity. And so they kind of just helped pull me right out of that. And when they pulled me out, I just I saw the light, and it wasn't more so about being better than people, but being a better person for people, you know. And so that's really like my motivation.
That's awesome.
Very inspiring.
Thank
And
you.
no, just to say, like, you scroll down your page, I can see that. What you speak, I can see that you're a very motivated person and you want to inspire people to do better than themselves.
Thank you.
Just by the content you post up and stuff like that.
Thank you. I
So
appreciate
I can see. Speaking of which, your shirt, Wealth Builder.
Yeah.
So you want to tell us a little bit about?
Yeah. So my shirt, it was actually made by this girl, Ashley Fox. You owe me one, Ashley. She's really awesome. She's actually one of my ex-business partners, and we were being young in the office. Young females, the only ones kind of like doing it, but she was like really doing it. Came in the business. First year, made 6 figures. First year, like I'm talking 25 years old, $100,000, over $100,000 earner.
Wow.
Just really sharp and ambitious, and coming from the ghetto, Philly, all these different things. And it was really inspiring. Time?
You can switch.
Yeah, switch.
Get advertising.
Good to go.
It's a check.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Time to say.
Yeah, so Ashley, coming from the ghetto of Phillies, and, just having a real empowering story, she just used to teach us a lot about connecting with yourselves. And, at first it felt like we didn't get along, but I wasn't really watching that. I was just watching, like, her competitive edge and, being determined and, just being like a woman leader. And that was just inspiring. So, someone that I respect, she's doing some great things out in Philly. She has her company called Amplify. Amazing things with children and financial education.
Nice.
So I saw she had Wealth Builder shirt for sale. Well, she actually didn't have it for sale at first. It was just for like her students and her clients. And I was like, well, hello, you need to make one for me for sale. And she was like, I was like, I'm all about supporting Black businesses. So then she was like, yeah, when I get them for sale, so As soon as she had them for sale, I was like, all right, I have to get one. That's like, this is what I do. You know, I help people build wealth. So I need to walk around with things that promote my brand, but promote me, you know. So people stop and ask me like, hey, what's that about? That's what I do. I teach people on how to build their wealth, you know. So I'm gonna have my shirts, you know, money matters, as I was telling you last time, you know, double entendre. But yeah, so it's about, you know, money matters. Just again, just a kind of a conversation piece, get people starting. Hey, what's that? You know, what's that about? You know,
Yeah.
no more no Louis Vuitton and none of that.
Word. Definitely should, you know, when it's up and you got a sample for us.
Absolutely.
Bring it on through.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll definitely have it
Definitely
on the
cop
table.
one.
You know,
Absolutely.
I'll
Yeah.
pick up one myself too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Don't say that all at once. You know, just I'm playing, but yeah, no, definitely, I appreciate that.
Yeah, but I mean that's what's up, man. Because I feel like, you know, especially in today's climate, we need to support each other a lot more. You know, when we're starting up business and things like that, because you always, you know, I feel like it's easy to go out there and get a job and people will congratulate you for
Definitely.
getting, but when someone is starting a business, you know what I'm saying, something that could potentially, you know, implore other people.
Yeah.
I feel like we don't, you know, corral enough around those individuals who are trying to start something positive.
Yeah. And it's like when you think about it, like we're meant to be entrepreneurs, we're meant to be business owners.
Right.
The way the world worked was originally everyone was a business owner, and then everybody was each other's clients. You know, then I think it was like the Great Depression or the Industrial Revolution. Like the war happened, and then the Industrial Revolution came about because they needed people to now work in the factories, and because people started going to work in the factories, they kind of got accustomed to that lifestyle. Their businesses shut down. They couldn't go back to anything, you know. But everyone was a business owner in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and
some kind of trade or something like that.
Exactly.
They sold, you know, fruits or produce or
Exactly.
whatnot, or, you know, sold.
everything, every person was everything, and like I said, everything in life is a buy sell transaction.
Yeah.
So I get people that tell me, "Oh, I can't sell." Like that's nonsense. You know, like when you wanted a toy from your parent, you was sitting there beating the floor, right? Until they got
You gave them
right.
the
That's
best story.
exactly. You know, when you were sneaking out the house and you went to, you know, get your parents to believe you, like, no, I wasn't. You know, you came in with the best lot. You understand? It's buy sell. It may not be like dollars and cents, but everything is a buy sell transaction in life.
Yeah.
So, you know, so we're natural born entrepreneurs, just kind of getting back to our roots.
So what do you feel is like the best? What strategy of yours, or in turn, you know, while we're talking on selling and whatnot, like what do you feel that you've done has impacted your business and the growth of it the most?
Being honest. To be honest, I think energy is real. I believe in energy. And so when I walk in a room, my presence is, you know, and I'm saying this with the most humble way possible, you know, but when I walk in a room, I think that I have a presence that draws people to me.
Yeah.
And people tell me that all the time, like I have an energy about me. I try to be honest. I try not to, you know, to lie or to, you know, mislead people. So I'm educating you. It's either you do or you don't. You know, I'm not here to convince you, honestly.
Yeah.
Right? People say, oh, no, that's not true, or you're too good. No, I'm not here to convince you. I don't want to work with people that don't want to work with me. You are a headache. You are a hard time. I don't need any of those, you know. I want to work with people that want to work with me, but I realize that a lot of people are skeptical about working with me because they are just, one, it's human nature to be skeptical, but two, because they're uneducated. So my tactic is education first. So I educate you. Now that you're knowledgeable, you can make the informed decision on whatever it is that you want to do.
Right.
So, and I just kind of guide you based off that.
That's a good strategy. I mean, and 9 times out of 10, once they realize, you know, what everything is, it's a no-brainer,
Absolutely.
you know, to work with you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. Shanisha's out here doing things.
Big things.
Shanisha's changing lives.
Changing lives. Big things. So, is there anything else we want to discuss?
Anything you want to knock out?
You did ask me a credit question. But I didn't get to answer.
What was the question?
Is it good to have credit?
What was my
how you
my credit philosophy?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a personal opinion. Everyone is like, oh, credit, and I'm like, no, cash, right? Green cash rule everything around me, right?
Hell yeah.
Now, you have to play. You can, as long as you can play the game. You just have to play the game, right? Credit is very important. You want to have a good credit score, but it's not like a lot of people want to focus on paying off their debt before they will save. That doesn't make sense. Even if I have a 6-step formula to financial freedom, first and foremost is cash flow. Second is emergency fund. Third is debt management. Fourth is proper protection. Fifth is build wealth, and last is preserving your estate, right? So. The emergency fund comes before the debt management, because what happens is if you go and pay off all your debt, right? All right, I got my tax refund check. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna pay off my credit card, my $3,000 credit card. I didn't save any money from it. Great. Now you have, as soon as you pay off that last bill, guess what? An emergency pops up, knocking at your door. Now what happens? How are you gonna pay for it? How are you gonna handle that emergency? You're gonna go straight back to that credit card, right? So when you go right back to that credit card, what happens? You're right back in that cycle of debt. Make sense? So it's important. It's more important to save and then tackle your debt than to focus on tackling your debt first, right? If you can do both equally, that's great. But I always say, hey, 60-40, 70-30, right? Tackle your debt, and then when you have a good enough lump sum, knock it out. You can even make arrangements with creditors at that point. Like, look, all right, I know I have this. Why don't I just give you $3,000 now? Like, I'll use $6,000. Let's say I give you $3,000 right now, and we just call it even. Right? Some of them will do it because some of them feel like they will never get that money back. You know? So it's just like when you have cash, you have more leverage, right? I'm gonna buy a home, right? I have cash, and then the person has a credit, right? The person who has, let's say you have a bank loan, and I have cash, right? He's the homeowner. He's selling his house. He may want my cash first because he just wants to get it over with, do the deal, whatever the case. Because I have cash and he wants to do the deal, I have negotiating rights. I have higher negotiating rights because I have the cash, right? And he wants this to happen now. Now, you may get more money from the bank, and if he knows that, and let's say he's patient, what happens is he'll go through the bank, but he's going to charge you $100,000 more than he will me, right? Because he knows that, he got access to all this money. So you have less negotiating rights. So this is why cash is king. So people will say credit. Stop fooling yourselves. No. You want to have a good credit score, though, because one, that you just want to have a good credit history, right? And you need it, right? It's important. But literally, if you have $300,000 cash and a basic credit score, like, I don't know, there's like 625, right? 625. You're just as powerful as a person that has an 800 credit score and maybe no money or $10,000.
Wow.
You understand? Equally as powerful. So really, you just want to maintain a balance where your credit is good. It can be outstanding, but just good, and then you have a lot of cash, right? Versus not having that, not having the cash and having a great credit score, because then you have less negotiating rights. But you can do stuff with credit too,
of course.
Other people's money, that's important too. But I just think that having some cash on hand is a lot better.
I wholeheartedly agree. I would prefer cash over credit. I can see why credit would come into play, especially if you want to make like an investment or something like that, real estate, or you want to buy equipment for a business or something like that. That's on a large that has a large price on it, instead of using cash. Well, anyway, plug your social media, for the people that want to hit you up and ask questions, or maybe they want to get some financial advice. How can they contact you?
Definitely. You can reach me on Facebook at Shanisha Alexandria Dixon, or on Instagram at Shanisha's Changing Lives. That's Shanisha, SHANISHAS, right? Changing Lives. And Snapchat, The Great Dix.
Gotcha. And your firm is also holding like weekly workshops for those who want to just get a quick introductory on the company and what you guys can offer.
Yeah.
How can they find out more about that, or if they're in the area, come and attend?
So we have those workshops twice. Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. sharp. You gotta have to come in professional attire though. And Saturdays at 10 a.m. And next month we'll start at 12 p.m. Professional attire, and you can just, it would be best to RSVP. You can email me, shanisha.dixon@gmail.com.
Go. So, Shanisha, I want to thank you for coming back again, and blessing us with your wisdom and your knowledge. Guys, I don't know if you guys got anything you want to add.
Well, I'm with you, bro. I just want to say thanks a lot for coming out. Both times I learned a lot, and very inspiring. And I look forward to staying in touch and just building.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Definitely. So, this has been another episode of the segment. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure to catch us next week. You feel me? Oh, and
Please subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. Hit the like button. Share. Leave a comment. If you have any questions, definitely drop your questions in the comments below. We'll read them and answer them on the next episode. How about this? Who watched the fight last weekend? If y'all caught the fight, who were y'all rooting for? And did you expect that person to win or lose? Drop that below. We'll talk about that next week.
And pray for Houston.
Pray
Yes.
for Houston, yes.